Well, a fund can incorporate spiritual integration just because people, if you belong to the Lord, He cares about your entire life, and He cares about your all your relationships. He cares about your family. He cares about your work as well. And so that's true for plumbers and for home builders, for construction workers. It's true for investors as well. God cares about the work that you do every day. And so to be a spiritually integrated fund is to be a fund manager who recognizes that reality. It does not mean that you only invest in portfolio companies that are led by other Christians. It means that you have taken the scriptures in and you've reflected on God's truth, the commandments, the promises that come to us in the Word, and you have thought through those things and specifically how it impacts how you invest your capital. And so we get to see a lot of fund managers that think that way. And it's a really exciting thing because there's a whole variety of ways that fund managers can actualize that in their funds. And we love being partners with them, both capital partners as well as thought partners with them. The spiritual integration document that we use, it actually started off as what we called a calling statement. And that now forms the base and foundation of the spiritual integration document. But we began with a calling statement because as we were evaluating funds, we wanted to understand not only everything that any other investor would want to understand when they look at a fund and decide whether to invest. We also wanted to understand what are the motivations of these people that are investing. And specifically, how do they understand God's call on their lives for their whole life? And what does that mean in the context of this fund? So it actually started off as a calling statement. And we received some really good calling statements early on. And it was very encouraging to see those and to see that they were really being lived out in the context of the fund. After that, we kind of organically just added a few questions to it, just because we wanted to understand more than just the calling, but also practically, what does that look like? We were able usually to observe it or hear it in conversations, but we asked people to just put it down on paper. So what does that mean practically within the context of your fund? And then finally, we were asked by a prospective LP, how do you make sure that these fund managers are doing what they said they would do? Now, we have a limited ability we can't enforce anything, but what we can do is ask them questions about that. And so we added a question about accountability. We said, who holds you accountable to everything that you just wrote down on paper?